Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Tony Jacobs. This podcast is not just about making money. It's about creating a legacy that stands the test of time. From analyzing market trends to mastering negotiation skills, we will leave no stone unturned as we guide you through different stages of real estate investing. We will bring on industry leaders and share stories from the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So now, it's time to level up your real estate game. And there's no better way to do it than right here with us at the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm with Dan Rivers. How you doing, Dan?
Great. Appreciate you having me on.
Great. I'm glad that I got you able to get onto the podcast. A little bit about Dan here. He's a real estate expert, entrepreneur with 20 years in the industry, done over $100 million in transactions, and is the founder of Synergy Stays, which is a short-term rental avenue management company helping investors and operators to maximize profitability. So, Dan, first question, the main question is, how did you get into this?
Real estate in general?
Yes.
Real estate's a pretty cool story. I was 24 years old. I was working at a bank, and I did a loan for this guy. And an awesome dude. He actually was from Boston. I'm down in Florida. I was living in Tampa. And at the end of me doing the loan for him, he's like, "Would you like to come work with me?" I said, "Sure." Well, what is it? Give me a little bit more information. And he says, we do property management for large scale, condominiums and HOAs down in Tampa, Florida, like high rises on the beach and all this. I was like, I have no experience, but sure, I'll try it out. And day one, I had 16 properties, 500 units, and had to learn by fire on how to manage high rise condominiums on the beach.
Oh, wow. Yep. That's an amazing story. And then with that, because I don't know much about this space, and I know this is your niche right here about the short-term rentals. How did that come about with your endeavors? Like, did you just basically from your story, did you just kind of just dive into it and just learn by trial by error, basically?
Yeah. So what I did was I've done a lot of different things. Since 2018, I've been here in Charleston, South Carolina, where I became a real estate agent, done over 400 deals. Worked with a lot of investors. I own my own portfolio property, short and long term. I, flipped homes. Don't necessarily love that, but I've done that. And then a couple of years ago, my partner, one of the co-founders with me, his name's Mike, came to me and he said, "Hey, let's start a short-term rental management company and let's do this together." He had all the knowledge on the short-term rental side. He's been doing it for, 8-10 years at that point. And I have the real estate knowledge and the business development knowledge. So we came together. We said, all right, let's do this thing. Let's create a short-term rental management company. Well, that was about a little over 2 years ago. Within 6 months, we're like, you know what? Short-term rentals are changing drastically. It used to be that one-stop shop, like property management company. That was good enough. You hire a good property management company and you could dominate the market if you have a good product. Well, we're seeing the adjustment where now it's becoming basically 4 separate businesses. You have property management, keeping the property up, the guest experience, which is super key, revenue management, which is maximizing that dollar, and then marketing. Higher level properties absolutely need the marketing. Some of the mid-tier don't. We realized drastically after about 6 to 8 months of doing what we were doing, all of our properties were at the top of the market when it came to revenue. Wow. So we internally talked to each other. We said, hey, this industry is changing. Let's go all in on revenue management because we can do this anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, quite frankly, and we can take someone's property and help it reach its maximum revenue potential. So that's what really got us excited. So we dumped the full service property management and been doing this for about 18 months, strictly just revenue management.
Wow, that's beautiful right there. And I know, especially because I live here in Northern California, a lot of people, they get into the short-term rentals. But why do you think it's kind of like people like investors do it casually? I know one of the things I wanted to ask you off the top of my head, because when I seen your portfolio and everything, is the gem with the short-term rentals with the tax structure. What exactly is that?
So, and I'm not a tax accountant, so I'm going to be very careful starting off with that.
Okay.
But basically, if you can prove that you put 100 hours in, and I believe it's only year 1 or 2, don't quote me on that. It's short term, but if you put 100 hours in on your short term rental, you can use some of the depreciation against your active income versus just your passive income. So there's that loophole that if you become basically an operator to some degree, you can utilize this tax strategy and help save on some of your active income. Now, the cool thing about that, again, I'm not a tax strategist, talk to your tax accountant. However, the cool thing about that is we do have a lot of clients who they'll go ahead and they'll take care of the guest experience and manage the property. And then we do their revenue management because that's just a whole nother animal, art and science combined, that they could still earn those hours, take care of the property, and then also maximize their revenue. So it's that good balance between both parties.
Okay. Yes. Because I know that people hate to shy away when it comes to word taxes. I'm all about taxes. I'm like, because the government made it for us to save on taxes, especially in the real estate sector.
Yep.
So another question I want to ask you about the short-term rentals. Also, say if a person owns one short-term rental today and they want to increase their revenue without buying another property, how should they go about it? How should they go about that aspect of increasing their revenue without really buying another property?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that are involved in this, but I think first and foremost, you kind of asked it a little bit before this, so I'll answer that a little bit, where a lot of people got into short-term rentals passively because people love to talk about passive investing, even though if someone had to ask me that now, what's one of the biggest fallacies in investing? It's that nothing's really passive. You have to be on top of it to some degree. So there's really no such thing as passive investing, but I think that's what attracts a lot of people. Hey, I'm going to buy this property. I'm going to make 3 times the amount of income, and I don't really have to do much. I'm going to be hands off. And they just thought it was kind of easy at that point. And that's where it was for a little bit, just like everything when COVID happened. Real estate just boomed. Every part of real estate boomed. People were trying to travel internally. They were cooped up inside. So Airbnb, VRBOs, that short-term rental boomed. And now we're seeing that people who casually invested in it are struggling. People who are treating it as an actual business and buy, the right property in the right location and give a proper guest experience are the ones who are truly benefiting from it. So what I would say to those people is it's hard to say a specific thing because there's so many different things you can do to maximize your revenue on a property. There's non-pricing and pricing levers that you could pull. But quite frankly, the first and foremost that I see all the time is get professional pictures. Make sure you have a good heading on your main picture. Don't say, the Magnolia House like here in Charleston. You want to say, 4-bedroom home or, sleeps 12, beautiful view of the mountains with a jacuzzi. Like that's a great title because guess what? Now I want to look at that house because I want a view of the mountains with a jacuzzi. And then after that, it's making sure you have as many amenities as possible. It doesn't mean that you need to go and invest in a $100,000 pool. But if you're kid friendly, make sure you have all the kids' toys, the bassinet, the pack and play, just make sure that you're truly maximizing that guest experience. And I'll say this last thing, we can go on with for a while, but one of the last things I'll say too is when it comes to your short-term rental, let's think of it like this. You have 365 days in a year. Let's just say you rent it for 300 days. That's a really good year if you rent it 300 days. Your average length of stay, so someone's going to book your unit for 3 nights on average. So you only have to appeal to 100 people a year. So we could really hyper-focus, like dwindle that down, hyper-focus and say, don't be afraid to stand out a little bit. Don't be afraid to have some really cool features. You may have if you're kind of close to Disney, you might have the Star Wars house. You might have something that not everybody's going to want to stay at, but you only need those 100 people to stay at your place every year. So don't be afraid to niche down and really stand out and have this cool experience. That's not for everybody, but it's for at least that 100 people every year.
Great. And I like the way you said with the description also at the very beginning. The more descriptive, the more enticing that people will come to. Just don't put it bland or just really plain. Put some excitement into it because especially, we know location. Yes, exactly. That's what I like to do as a realtor when I describe someone's house. I put descriptions where it entices people. I'm like, you know what? I want to look at this property because look what all of it has. And another thing too, I would say this also because I always talk to a realtor about this. Make sure you have professional pictures because that's huge. Because there's some people I'm just like, really, you use that on your phone? I say because you can see the difference between a phone. The phones right now are so up to date, but a professional picture, a professional look, that someone actually took some time and effort to take those pictures.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. We see it all the time on this side. I'm like, you just spent $600,000 on this house. You $50,000 on furniture, and you couldn't spend a few $100s on pictures.
Exactly.
Really? That's where you're going to skip out. This is where you're going to make your money.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So yeah, we talked about the short-term rentals. The next part I would love to talk about, because this is my main thing I love talking about, is the mindset. Like how you talk about the difference between victim mindset and growth mindset. What's the difference between both?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In the fast-paced world of real estate, success hinges on information. Introducing PropStream, your all-in-one real estate solution. Find properties, analyze markets, and generate leads effortlessly. With PropStream, you're always one step ahead. Access it anytime, anywhere, and watch your business thrive. Don't miss out on the future of real estate. Get started with PropStream today. Visit trial.propstreampro.com/Tony Jacobs for a 7-day free trial and revolutionize your real estate game. PropStream, your key to real estate success. Don't wait. Start now.
All right. I think one of the biggest things in life, and I've seen it, and I have, close friends, everything that I've seen it from, of whenever something happens, ask yourself, did I blame an outside circumstance or an outside person for this happening? And if the answer is yes, that's that victim mentality. And it seems so small. I didn't get this raise because I'm not friends with the boss, like, so-and-so is, that's why they got the raise, or they're a different gender than me, or whatever the case is, or this happened to me in life, happened to me instead of for me. Where that growth mindset, the proper mindset to be successful, in my opinion, and you see success all the time, these people have the same mindset, is no matter what happens to me, what should I have done differently to have avoided this, or what can I learn from it? And that slight switch, the same event can happen to you. You don't get the raise, you don't get the promotion. But instead of saying it's because of someone, it's in someone else's hands, now you're putting your life in someone else's hands. I'm not doing that. I'm taking that back. That's in my hands. What could I have done better to deserve that promotion? Or the other question may be, am I at the right place to hit my personal goals? Maybe I can't achieve it, for there's hurdles in the place and I got to make a pivot. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at yourself and being truly honest with yourself on what you could have done differently, there's always an answer. It's never someone else's fault, unless you truly want to put the control of your life in someone else's hands. But then you can't cry about the outcome if you're going to, put that control in someone else's hands.
I know. I remember this one picture I've kept it on my phone, and it shows, like, especially nowadays, that a person is one paycheck away from being on the sideline, being homeless. Like, I believe, like, especially right now, the way everything with coming with AI, and how, there's good and bad when AI. I've always viewed the good of the AI and how it benefits, especially in real estate, that there are so many different ways and different avenues to make money nowadays. It's unreal. Like, you got to think, from the COVID time to now, like, it's tremendous. And I even talked to my lady about it too. I was like, you got to think, like, so basically, like, this doesn't have to do with real estate, but this is just a thing, because she's in the healthcare field, and she wanted to get her resume done. So I was like, hold on, I know how to go about to make it, like, whatever you're going for was a administrative assistant. You have to talk to the AI like it is a person, but you have to be, as we talked about, got to be detailed. And I brought it and I made it and I copied everything for her. And she goes, that's what happened? I said, you don't know the power of AI. I said, every second while we're speaking right now, it's getting stronger. We have to use it to its benefit, because it's not going anywhere. You got to remember, I remember back in the day when computers were around, people were like, what is this? Or like, what's online? Like, is this just a fad? Is this going to go away? Like, no, it's here to stay. So it's like, I tell people, we have to adapt with what's going on, because it's not leaving. It's not leaving. And I like how, and everything that you said about the mindset, I think mindset is one of the biggest things that a person can, you get entrapment with working a 9 to 5. Like, people, a lot of people, of course they have jobs and everything, but it's some of them are subtle. They work a 9 to 5 and they're just like a robot. 9 to 5, 5 days. Oh, wait. Well, someone told me, they told me that the reason why a person works 5 days a week, 9 to 5, is because you work so hard those 5 days, they give you 2 days off. When somebody broke that concept down to me, I said, that's horrible.
Yeah. And It's funny because there's a couple things. So 9 to 5 is 8 hours a day. There's 24 hours in a day. Ed Milet does a good job of this. He breaks up the day in 3 days. So like, oh, we could dive deep into this all day long about like, so you got like those three times. So you got like your 9 to 5, that's your 8 hours of that day, right? But then, people use that as an excuse to not grow and not be better, not learn. Well, really take a time audit of what you're doing the rest of that day. Are you, just scrolling social media for an hour and a half? We all done it. There's no judgment. I do it once. I catch myself and I got to put it away.
Yes, me too.
Or watching TV. I actually did no TV. One of my things, no TV, no drinking. And every day of the week, every weekday, kind of keeps me focused on the weekdays so I can be strong. So now I can use that 8 hours to read a book, journal, spend more time with the family, maybe work on a side hustle. Like there is that time. We all have the same time. Warren Buffett and us have the same 24 hours in a day. And that's the mindset you have to have is like, am I time audit yourself? And like literally for a week, everything you do. And again, just like as long as you're honest with yourself and you're truly writing down what you do, that's how you can grow. If you want to hide it and be like, yeah, I looked at social media, but I'm not going to write that down. Well, then you're not going to see the areas that you can kind of pivot and switch in to be able to build a better future for yourself, because we all have that ability to do it. I'm not out here saying everybody should quit their job, go into business for themselves. But what I am saying, and what you kind of hinted to, was you need more than one source of revenue, because if you only have one source of revenue, you're 1 week away from being homeless. If you can create some other source of revenue, God forbid you want to change your job or adjust your lifestyle, you now can do it because you have the other source of revenue. Now, it might not replace it fully, but if you can just take 3 months off to reboot yourself and then go figure out what you really want to do in life, that's powerful. The golden handcuffs people say are the 9 to 5 job.
Yes.
I want to go deeper in that. I feel like the golden handcuffs are, no matter how much money we make in that 9 to 5 job, we find a way to spend that much. So therefore, you can't quit that job anymore. You can't walk away from a $150,000 job, $200,000 job if you're making that much, because you're like, I'm living the lifestyle that equates to this. Now I can't get out of that. And there's some things you can't control. Interest rates, housing prices have gone up. It's a little bit more expensive to buy a house, but you can house hack. You can buy a different house in a different area. Like you could get creative if you really want to. So it's those types of things that like take control of your own life. Look at yourself and what you can do better. Surround yourself with the right people who are asking themselves better questions. This is a quote that a buddy of mine, Tim, he was talking to a billionaire one time and he was asking him like, what are some of the secrets that you do? It's like, just the different questions they ask themselves. They don't ask themselves like, what sports games on this week? What is nothing wrong watching sports, but they're more on the mindset of, how can I be a better person? Am I 1% better today? Is there a trend that I'm starting to see that I should pay more attention to, like AI, and start to utilize it? Maybe I make a commitment to using AI once a month in different ways so that I can learn how to grow and make sure that I don't fall behind. Like, those are the questions you should be asking yourself. Like, how can I be better today? How can I be a better dad? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better at my job, or at the dream that I want to achieve? And when you start thinking on that level, there's no telling what you can do.
Yes. Yeah. Like you said, we could go so long on the mindset part, because it's huge. And especially right now, because a lot of people right now, there's a lot of distractions. Distractions is taking up time. I do it like you said. I'm on my phone. At nighttime, I have to put my phone down. I'm like, I'm resting you until tomorrow morning, because there's no need for me to be on it. Like, if anything, if it's important or anything, I'll get notified. But if not, and that's just the way it is. And the mindset, like with me, like, and for the people out there listening, then like you expanded on with the mindset, you got to look at yourself. You have to look at yourself deeply, and don't lie to yourself, and tell yourself like, what's going to make me a better person. And don't consume that 9 to 5 all the time. I know a lot of people who work extra hours and everything to get some. We all get things, but we only live once. Like, time is precious. That's the one thing that we can't gain back, is time. Mm-hmm. So we have to use it to the fullest. I know a lot of people who want the finest things, but I asked them this. I was like, I know, but you can't take that with you. I'm like, why don't you share those times, those priceless moments with your children? They're in sports. Like I do, I do baseball AAU and basketball AAU with my cousin. And I tell people, spend time with your kids. I'm like, it's a beautiful thing. It just the little things in life that matter. It's not about material possessions. And like, I'm real Bible Belt. Like, since I was born in North Carolina, I'm very Bible Belt. Like, you have to, in a way, material possessions is an illusion. And that's what I was always taught when I was a child. Like, it's like, son, you can have all these things, but this doesn't make you. This doesn't make you as a person, as an honest individual, a person that someone can trust. It's all going to be by the nature of you and what's in your heart, how you're brought up. And I was like, you know what? I'm taking that all the way to the bank right there, mom and dad. But yeah,
you know what the biggest flex is? The biggest flex has been my goal, and I've achieved this. I'm not the wealthiest. I don't have the most money of my friend, any of that stuff. But what I do have, and I tell people I'm the wealthiest person around, is I have the ability to drop my daughter for school when I want, pick her up every day, spend time with her. I have the ability to have that time. And one of the biggest ways to flip, we'll talk about mindset, flip your mindset. When you want to buy those fancy things, like you say, figure out how many hours you have to work to pay for it. And not just the hours. Hey, I make $20 an hour. It's 5 hours to spend $100. No, it's actually probably 6.5 hours to spend $100 because of taxes and everything on top of that. So is what you're about to buy worth 6.5 hours? If you're going to buy something for $10,000, now you're talking about 650 hours. Is what you're about to buy worth 650 hours of your life, or would you rather buy that time back? And when you start thinking of things like that, and it is hard, especially with like social media. I can't even imagine social media and then being in areas where, I mean, I've gotten sucked into it at one point in my life, making good money and then just spending a lot of it. And then I just woke up one day, I'm like, because I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. My parents are great parents, but they not a lot of money. I worked since I was 14 and a half years old. Like, I hustled. And so I came back to those roots. But like, I think about it, like, if I can't buy it, 5 times, if I don't want to put another 60 hours or 600 hours of work into it to go buy this thing, I'd rather take that time and spend it with my family. And I feel like if more people started thinking like that, they'd probably be less apt to buy those material things.
Yes. Amen. Amen. So, Dan, I love this conversation with you. You've hit so many gems about short-term rental. What do you think, as right now, 2026, we're at the beginning of the year, where do you think the short-term rental is going to go to? Is it going to stay where it's at, or is it going to advance a little more?
Well, predictions are it's about 1.7 million short-term rentals in the U.S. Obviously, you have restrictions, you have codes in certain areas, but I think what's going to happen is you're going to, just like a lot of different types of real estate investing, and I know you know this, a lot of people get into it like multifamily and then they get out because they struggle, they're not good operators, whatever the case is. It's going to be the same thing here. If you got into your short-term rental, you don't treat it like a business, you look at everything like an expense instead of a value add, you're probably going to struggle. If you look at it like a business and you put the right pieces in place, like one of the things I mentioned early on is, I think the one-stop shop, I think this is one of my predictions, that one-stop shop property management company is probably not going to be your best choice 9 out of 10 times, because they're trying to do 4 different businesses in one, and you could do maybe all those good to great, but you can't do those excellent. So I see the industry going, the people who stand apart are the people who get someone who's good at the property management and guest experience, get a separate person who's good at revenue management, and if your property calls for it, get a third person like, Market My STR, a great company that's like, they can help you with the marketing of your short-term rental. People who treat it like a business and hire professionals who are great, not good, great in each area, are going to be the ones that make the most money and elevate themselves from the competition.
You heard it from Mr. Dan Rivers himself. Dan, I want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the podcast. How can people get in touch with you?
You can hit us up. It's synergystayslocal.com. Or you could follow us at Synergy Stays. And me personally, feel free to email me if you want, Dan@synergystayslocal.com.
Okay, I'll put that in the show notes. Dan, it's an honor, pleasure to have you on. I love the short-term rental part, and the part of mindset. It's just, I can't say enough about it, because I think what a lot of people, especially nowadays, are lacking. And just the way you just came about it, I will definitely have this out for people to hear and listen to, because this is probably one of my best podcasts right here, especially with the mindset shift right there, that part right there.
Oh, I appreciate you. It took me 40 years to finally forgive my past and forgive myself of who I used to be. But once I did, oh my God, my mindset shifted and my life's been so much better the last 5 years.
And I even got to expand on that, because like you said, that was the past. Mm-hmm. What you was doing, you was looking ahead. I said, you can't remake the past. Mm-hmm. You got to go forward. We can't, like I said, we can't buy back time. It's like, what are you going to do now? Yep. That's what it comes down. What are you going to do now moving forward?
100%. And your past does not define who you are in your future. So don't let it. That's the biggest advice I can give. Yeah.
Amen. All right, then, world. Thank you. Thank everybody for watching the Professionals Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm on all the social medias, YouTube, LinkedIn. It's going to be in streaming on all the I can't on top of my head on all the audio, because there's like 17 different platforms, and I'll make sure, Dave, that it's on it for you and everything, and I'll get everybody in the show notes so they can get in touch with you.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Tony.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Let's make it happen together. Are you ready to find your dream home, sell your property for top dollar, or take your first step into real estate investing? Tony Jacobs, a dedicated real estate professional with eXp Realty in Northern California, specializes in helping individuals and families achieve their real estate goals. Whether you're searching for the perfect property, selling your home quickly and efficiently, or building wealth through strategic real estate investments, he is here to guide you every step of the way. With his expertise, market insights, and a tailored approach, he ensures you get the results you deserve. Call today at 530-646-7293 or email me at tjacobsrealestateforyou@gmail.com to schedule your free consultation. Your partner in real estate success, Tony Jacobs. eXp Realty of Northern California Incorporated. DRE number 02110892.